steps to Tony, long count battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone's stunned by the fury of Lewis's attack.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. You don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Crush the legend. Mike Rim. Mike Mazik. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, a look at boxing 2025. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone today? This is the Monday afternoon edition Upcast Sports the Box Historian. Put right back up at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. And it's a big one. Okay. Today, we're gonna forget the history for a day. We're gonna talk about this year, 2025. We're gonna look at some questions that we got for this year. Like few boxers are contemplating retirement, and got some old boxers talking about coming back, like Vladimir Klitschko. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, Vladimir Klitschko. He's 40 something. Talking about coming back. I'll look at some of the potential big fights on the table for this year. Like, of course, Tank and Shakur, Canelo Bud, on again, off again. I think it's on again now. We're going to talk about some of the potential big fights. And then we're going to talk about a whole group of young boxers that's looking to make a move in 2025. Some young boxers under 25 years old that's looking to be on the move in 2025. We got about 10, 15 of them we're going to talk about today. So we're talking about current events in boxing today. Okay. But how was everybody's weekend? We got some highlights of boxing history today. We're going to talk about 10 of the greatest females boxers of all time. Okay. Now, it's not any best to worst or worst to best, just 10 great female boxers that graced the ring. Okay. But how's everybody today? How was the weekend? This is the week for next week is the week. Well, this is Keyshawn and Dennis. That's Friday. Friday night fights this week, yeah. Keyshawn, a young boxer. He's in his first major title fight this very week. All right, the businessman. I got Keyshawn pulling it out, but he's gonna have to be focused because we talked about those Eastern European guys last week, remember? They are fundamentally sound. He's not going to be in there like with Keyshawn Fort Lemos, throwing those wide hooks, being repetitive, leaving himself open. Lemos just not going to do that. Okay. Think about Eastern European fighters. The word comes to mind is mistakes. They don't make mistakes, and they're good at capitalizing off their opponent's mistakes. Okay. So Keyshawn should pull it out, but he's going to have to be very focused and fight a good fight. Okay, let's look at some of these females, some of the all-time great female fighters for the highlights of boxing history segment today. Okay, here we go. Highlights of boxing history. Appreciate it. Okay, here we got like 7 former boxers, and then we got 3 actives we're going to talk about now. So let's go. That's Amanda and Katie. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor gave us 2 good fights. That's one of the potential fights for this year. Amanda Taylor, one of the ones I'm going to talk about today. It's a potential fight we'd like to see this year. I wouldn't mind seeing Amanda and Katie 3. Maybe the judges will get it right this time. You know, the 3rd time is a charm. They messed up the first 2 times. Man, what happened to Kansas City yesterday? I ain't never seen nobody do Kansas City like that. Wow. Philly put that foot on deep up in their hind parts. Woo. Wow. I mean, the Eagles told Kansas City, like, why did y'all even come down here to the state in Kansas City? Wow, that was bad, man. That was bad. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles and their fans. Super Bowl champions. Yep, Jalen Hurts MVP. Philly's defense won that game because they set the tone early. Okay. When the offenses were going back and forth, I think Philly had like 7, but the defense wasn't giving Kansas City nothing. So really, I thought the entire defense should have got the most valuable player award because them boys was playing, man. Yeah, the Eagles defense won that one, I would say. They was not joking. They made Patrick Mahomes look ordinary. Yup. Okay. 10 of the greatest women's boxers of all time for the highlights of boxing history this afternoon. Okay. Holly Holm. Now, starting off the list is former UFC bantamweight champion Holly Holm. The preacher's daughter is the only fighter to hold a world boxing and a UFC title. And she started her boxing career before her MMA career. Now, Holm made her boxing debut in 2002 and won the IBA junior welterweight title, as well as the WBA, WIBA, the IFBA, IBA, GBU welterweight titles, okay? With 9 wins by knockout, Holm beat the likes of Anne Sophie Mathis, Diana Prazak, Christy Martin, Mia St. John, and Mary Jo Sanders. While MMA ended up being her last home, boxing still holds a special place in Holm's heart. There's no denying Holm's trailblazing status as a female in boxing. Holly Holm. Next, the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin. Christy Martin. One of the most important figures in women's boxing history, Christy Martin's longevity and tough nature has cemented her status as one of the top fighters in boxing history. The coal miner's daughter made her professional debut in 1989 and would end up winning the WBC super welterweight title in 2009, 20 years later. The first female to be inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. Martin was already inducted into the National Boxing Hall of Fame, okay? Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter. Martin at one point was working with Evander Holyfield's son. Evan Holyfield, son of Evander. And she made her way to a few boxing fights. Still goes to a few boxing fights now and then. And there can only be one Christy Martin. And boxing is lucky to have had someone like her. The coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin. Layla Ali. Talking about some of the top women's boxers of all time. Highlights of boxing history. Layla Ali. Next on the list is the daughter of Muhammad Ali, right? Layla. Making her pro debut in 1999, Ali became the first woman to headline a pay-per-view event against Jackie Frazier-Lyde, the daughter of Joe Frazier, in 2001. And this fight was on the anniversary of the Fight on the Century, their famous father's fight, March 8, 1971. The daughters fought on March 8, 2001, a 30-year anniversary. Now, Ali is a former IBA and IWBF, WBC, and WIBA super middleweight champion, as well as an IWBF light heavyweight champion. Being the daughter of a legend can result in a lot of pressure, but Ali managed to thrive under it. She was also a TV personality. And one has to wonder how Ali would do against today's proper fighters. I think she would do well. Ali went 24-0, 21 of them knockouts. Incredible, for women's boxing. Only 3 people went the distance with her, okay? 24-0, 21 knockouts. Turn the thing on, Cass. 87.5% knockout rate for Layla Ali, okay? Next, Layla Ali, you got to talk about Ann Wolfe next. Ann Wolfe. Owner of one of the greatest knockouts in boxing history, Ann Wolfe is as tough as they come. Making her debut in 1998, Wolfe is a former WBA, NABA super middleweight champion, as well as an IBA light heavyweight champion. In 2004 against Vonda Ward, Wolf knocked her out with a devastating punch in the first round that is still talked about to this day. Okay? That was 2004, 21 years ago. Wolf ended her career in 2006, but she continued to get back, training fighters. She trained James Kirkland, and she has also appeared in films like Wonder Woman. With 16 wins by knockout, there's no wonder the Hall of Famer is on this list. She's another member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So is Layla Ali, okay? Trump, what's up, Trump? In the building. Do the highlights of boxing history, Trump. We're going over some of the top women's boxers of all time. And Trump says, Ronald got robbed both times. Yeah, I think so too, Trump. That's why I would like to see 3 this year. Maybe the judges will get it right this time. The 3rd time is the charm. Maybe they'll get it right if they fought again. We're going to talk about some fights that we'd like to see this year. And Toronto Taylor 3 is one of them. Okay? But right now, some of the top women fighters of all time. Regina Hamage. Boxing fans in the U.S. may not be familiar with Regina Hamage, but she is considered one of the most influential boxers of all time. The German fighter helped popularize the sport in Europe. Hamage won the IBF flyweight title in 1995 and defended it a total of 29 times. That's more than Joe Louis, right? Joe Louis had 25. Hamage defended her title a total of 29 times, okay? She also won the IBF super flyweight title and the IBF light flyweight title. Outside of boxing, Hamage pursued modeling and owned her own cosmetics business. She was fine too. Miss Cassie at home, I hope she ain't listening wherever she at. With 16 wins by knockout, Hamage was someone who met business in and out of the ring. Yeah, she was a model too. Fine, man. Fine. Yes, she was. Lucia Richker. Lucia Richker. Okay? Considered the most dangerous woman in the world, Lucia Richker is a kickboxing, and she was a kickboxing and boxing champion. Right? Former WIBF welterweight and WIBO junior welterweight champion, right? And she's a member of both the International Women's and International Boxing Hall of Fame, okay? They both of them. Her dangerous striking ability allowed her to play a key role in $1 Million Baby. Boxing fans didn't get to see with her facing Christy Masterson, right? But there's no denying the woman with 14 wins by knockout was someone who would be feared today. You never got her in Christy. A couple more. Trump says Ed Wolf used to put some air beatings on Kirkland in between rounds. Yeah, Trump, she sure did. Put some air beatings on her. Cecilia Brækhus. I think she's still fighting. She's a veteran. Cecilia Brækhus. Now, Cecilia was the first woman to be undisputed in the 4-belt era, not the GOAT. The GOAT was the first one to do it in 2 different divisions. But Cecilia was the first female to be undisputed in the 4-belt era. Until recently, she called herself the First Lady. She was the gold standard when it came to title fights. Cecilia Brækhus is one of only 10 boxers in the history of the sport. Well, she was. That was kind of old then. She was the first woman to hold all 4 major titles when it went to 4-belt, right? And she defended her title 25 times. She's a Norwegian fighter. She beat the likes of Jessica Balagan, Mia St. John, Ivana Harbison, Erica Farias, and Callie Reese. Cecilia Brækhus. Brækhus would finally taste defeat in 2019 against Jessica McCaskill, and then again in a rematch in 2021. I'm always hitting something that I came off of my site, but I'm back on it. Cecilia Brækhus. I have to put that other hand in my pocket. Yes, Cecilia. She got beat by Jessica McCaskill, and Jessica beat her in the rematch too. Jessica took all 4 belts from Cecilia at one time. Not many did that. Took them all at once, but Jessica did it to Cecilia. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Now I can't get back to where I was at. Bear with me for a minute, please. We only had a couple more. Only had a couple more. And I hit something. I'm always hitting buttons. But how's everybody today? There's Cecilia. Yeah, we was talking about how she lost to Jessica. Jessica took her undisputed status away from her too, right? And she was an overwhelming fighter. Dominant, okay? And then we had the 3 active fighters. We had Clarissa Shields, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor on the list as 3 of the greatest of all time. Now, Clarissa Shields, right? She's also dabbled in the mixed martial arts, remember? And she's held multiple world championships in 5 weight classes, including undisputed in 2 different ones. First one to do undisputed in 2 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Clarissa was, yep. The GOAT is what she called herself. Mm-hmm. And she currently holds the record for becoming a 2, 3, 4, and 5 division world champion in the fierce professional fights. As of October 2022, she was ranked the world's best active female fighter by BoxRec, as well as the best active female boxer pound for pound by ESPN and the Ring magazine, okay? And currently, she has 16 fights, won 16, lost none. She has 3 wins by knockout. No, she has 3 wins by knockout. Mixed martial arts, she has 3 total fights. She's won 2 and lost 1. Even got a knockout in mixed martial arts. Yep. The GOAT, Clarissa Shields. Katie Taylor, KT. Now, Katie was the undisputed and linear world lightweight champion from 2019 to 2024. And she has held the undisputed and linear world super lightweight championship since 2023. She's hugely popular in Ireland, and she is credited with raising the profile of women's boxing at home and abroad, and is regarded as the outstanding Irish athlete of her generation. Katie Taylor. Mm-hmm. But she had never beat Amanda, though, but the judges thought so. Katie has a total of 25 fights. She's won 24, just 1 loss. Who was that? Was it Chantel Cameron or Michaela? I get them mixed up. And Katie has 6 by knockout. Katie Taylor. And then finally, it's Amanda Serrano. The 3 active fighters. Amanda. Yeah, I would like to see Amanda Katie 3 this year. Now, Amanda's also dabbled in the mixed martial arts too. Now, as a boxer, she's a unified featherweight world champion. She dropped her WBC because they wouldn't do the 12-round championship fight, so she dropped it, right? And she's held the WBO since 2019, IBO since 2021, and the WBA title since 2023. She's the only female and Puerto Rican to win world titles in more than 4 weight classes. And she holds the Guinness World Record for the most boxing world championships won in different weight classes by a female. Having held 9 major world titles across 7 different weight classes. One behind Manny. Just one behind Manny, okay? Watch out, Manny. And Amanda is still acting. Calls herself the real deal. Amanda has 51 total fights. She's won 47. She's lost 3, really only 1, because she didn't lose those 2 fights to Katie. And she has 1 draw. And Amanda has 31 knockouts. That's some pop. Yes, she does. Okay. So let's get ready to start with the show today. We're going to talk about, we're going to leave the boxing history alone today. We're going to talk about 2025, the current year that we're in boxing. Okay. That's what we're going to do today. But first, we got this, we're like 2 weeks away from Friday. It's the meet and greet. Coming right up. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that real quick before we get started.
JBT, Curtis Sewell, treasurer.
Wait a minute. What in the world was I'm doing at the end of it? That's crazy.
He is doing it again. Another meet and greet, this time in Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week. Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT, Curtis Sewell, treasurer.
All right. Now the special is over. The $20, all tickets are $30 now, but it still puts you in the drawing to win a ticket to the fight. And the drawing is next Friday. Okay, the drawing is next Friday, 21st. So the winner will have time to plan and be in the building. Okay. And we got Keyshawn in the ring this Friday night fights against what's his name? Baranchek, whatever his name is. You know, Dennis, the Ukrainian guy. Yeah. Not easy. I got Keyshawn winning it, but not an easy fight. You know, those Eastern Europeans are some good fundamentally sound fighters. Take their time. Technical. They're not going to make a whole lot of mistakes. Like I was telling you, Dennis is not going to be throwing all wide like Lemos was, leaving himself wide open, being repetitive. Keyshawn will probably get a decision, I would say. Yeah. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about boxing in a look at boxing 2025. Tomorrow is the junior bantamweight division, 115. We're going to look at a little history of that and go over the junior bantamweight tomorrow. Boxing in the States Thursday is Oregon. And the profile this week is Vitaly Klitschko. Okay? Then the next couple weeks after that, we're going to do Don King and the Bobfather. Don King 1 week and the Bobfather the next week. We're going to talk about their lives and careers. Both very significant figures in this sport. Love them or hate them. They've been big, huge in boxing. And they didn't get along a lot back in the day, but they put their differences aside when it came to making those big fights and making that money. Yeah. These promoters nowadays can learn something from Don King and the Bobfather. Okay, but let's get started with today's show. A look at boxing 2025. Okay, it's 2:30. It's safe to start because, if I start before 2:30, I don't know what might not happen. Remember last time the whole thing crashed? I was out for like 20 minutes. I was panicking. But as boxing unfolds in 2025, the sport is bracing for a year that could reshape multiple divisions and redefine legacies. Now, one of the biggest events on the calendar is set for February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where the last crescendo will bring together some of the sport's most dangerous fighters. The card featuring 7 championship fights, 7 of them, full of main events. Now, this card is headlined by Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, 2, the rematch. In a long-awaited rematch for the light heavyweight title, undisputed light heavyweight title, that is. Now, Daniel Dubois will also put his IBF heavyweight crown on the line against Joseph Parker, a fight that could have massive implications depending on what happens next with Alexander Usyk. And with a supercharged start to the year, we've already had David versus David. Remember, the monster been in there, the growth been in there, so we already off to a roaring start for 2025. Only going to get better. Keyshawn Friday, and then we also got Nakatani and David forgot his name, the Mexican fighter. Nobody's talking about that one. That's on the 24th. That could be a good one too. Yeah. At 118. And then this one on the 22nd. That's a couple days after that one. After this one here. Now, with a supercharged start to the year, the following is a few of the storylines that will play out over the months to come. We're going to talk about some of the storylines that will play out over the year. Now, will Alexander Usyk retire? Okay, let's talk about that. Will Alexander Usyk retire? That's one of the storylines we got to keep in mind. Now, at 38 years old, Usyk remains at the top of the heavyweight division after retaining his WBA, WBC, and WBO titles with his second win over Tyson Fury in their rematch. However, retirement rumors continue to swirl, particularly with talks of a potential farewell fight against, guess who? Fellow Ukrainian legend Vladimir Klitschko. Yeah, Vladimir in his 40s. Now, Usyk's promoter, Alex Kraschuk, has suggested that such a historic matchup between Usyk and Klitschko could serve as the perfect conclusion to Usyk's career. Now, if Usyk does decide to step away from the ring, the heavyweight division could undergo a seismic shift. Now, Daniel Dubois, currently preparing for his February 22nd clash against Joseph Parker, would find himself in prime position to seize control of the division. But should Usyk remain active, remain fighting, a rematch between Usyk and Dubois could be inevitable. That's assuming Dubois gets past Parker first. Now, the fact is, if Usyk continues to fight in 2025, he remains the man everyone's chasing at heavyweight. Okay? Yeah, Usyk remains the man at heavyweight. Now, another storyline for this year. Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Will it finally happen? Now, Tyson Fury has announced his retirement, but he can very easily unannounce it. You know how boxing is. But Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, will it finally happen? Now, the Battle of Britain between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury has been teased for years, yet it remains elusive. Now, Fury's recent announcement that he is retiring yet again has cast fresh doubt over the fight. Now, promoter Eddie Hearn, however, believes Fury's claim of retirement is a tactical move. Hearn is still pushing for a showdown between the two Brits later this year. Yeah, Eddie's still trying to make that fight, okay? Now, Joshua, meanwhile, is weighing his options for his next fight. If Fury walks away from the sport for good, AJ may have to pursue alternative routes to reclaim the heavyweight crown. But if Fury returns, the long-awaited clash between the two could finally become a reality. Possibly a big fight this summer. Okay? You could possibly get that one. Another storyline. Vladimir Klitschko. Is he coming out of retirement to fight Usyk? That's the rumor. At nearly 50 years old, former heavyweight king Vladimir Klitschko is rumored to be contemplating a return to the ring. If he follows through, he could attempt to surpass George Foreman as the oldest heavyweight champion in history. If he could beat Usyk, yeah, he would be the oldest because Foreman had 45. Klitschko is 48. Now, the biggest potential fight on the table for Klitschko is undoubtedly a showdown with Usyk, creating an all-Ukrainian clash between the country's most celebrated boxing icons. But Klitschko has also emphasized his commitment to Ukraine amid the ongoing war, making his return to boxing anything but certain. Now let's look at some potential interesting fights for 2025. Some potential fights that we would like to see this year. You know, that some of them are in the works. Okay. Some of these fights been talked about for years, but they're actually in the works. Now let's talk about some of them. Now, as boxing goes, 2024 was a pretty good year. Some big fighters got together for some big fights, and they yielded entertaining results. Turki Ali Sheikh and the Saudi Arabia GEA continued to impress, putting on multiple super fights throughout the year. Some of these fights included Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, and Dimitri Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev. We got another one of them coming up, remember? Now, remembering these fights makes it easy to crave more of the same in 2025. Now, looking at this year's early schedule, all indications point to another great year of boxing and competitive fights. Actually, it seems 2025 has the potential to give us much better action than its predecessor, 2024, because the current year lines up as the perfect time for multiple fights that have been talked about for years to finally happen. Let's take a look at some potential mega fights for 2025, okay? Got to talk about this one again, okay? Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Got to talk about that one again because remember Amir Khan and Kell Brook fought way after both of them had been out of the sport. And look how they sold over there in England. So if AJ is still active, Fury's just retired. So that would be a huge fight over there in the UK. And I wouldn't mind seeing it. So we're talking about some big potential mega fights for 2025. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Okay? Now, it's been talked about. It's been written about. It was even signed and scheduled at one point. But a fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, who briefly shared the heavyweight championship, has never occurred. Now, Fury has announced his retirement, but again, Eddie Hearn says it's a tactical move, and this is boxing. So follow the money, right? Now that both fighters are damaged competitive goods, maybe 2025 is the year it gets done, okay? Now, Joshua's career is down to his last strike after his shocking fifth-round knockout loss to Daniel Dubois in September of last year. And Fury is officially off the division's top tier after dropping a pair of close but justifiable decisions to Alexander Usyk in May and December of last year. Now, it won't matter much in their native England, where fans will certainly turn out in big numbers to see the behemoths settle a long-time verbal beef. Whether a title is on the line or not, they're going to come out for this one. Promoter Eddie Hearn is on board. Joshua's done it all, Eddie said. If he gets Fury on his resume, he's boxed virtually everybody of his era. Okay? Now we got to look at this one. Potential big fights for 2025. How about this one? Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Okay? Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. That depends largely on who you ask. Right? But one thing is for certain. A showdown between generational stars Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford would be a big event. One of the most appealing fights of 2025, right? These two fighters have cemented themselves as two of the greatest of the current era. And many in the boxing world call them two of the greatest the sport has ever seen. Now, they've been calling each other out over the past year. Now, Canelo turned professional in his teens and won his first title at age 20. He's currently age 34. And since winning that first title, he spent the subsequent years building a Hall of Fame career. He's held titles at 154, 160, 168, and 175, right? Including being the first boxer to be undisputed at super middleweight in the four-belt era. Now, Canelo's current record is 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 knockouts, okay? Now, Crawford is a 4-division champion, including 2-time four-belt undisputed. 2 of those undisputed, right? And he's 4-division champion. 2 of those divisions he's been 2 four-belt undisputed, right? Now he's unbeaten in 41 fights. Yeah, Crawford haven't lost in 41 fights. And with 31 wins by knockout. Now against Canelo, Crawford is looking at a career-defining challenge that will surpass anything he's done in the sport to this point. Now, is Canelo too big? Is Crawford too skilled? Then not surprisingly, Canelo leans toward the first question. He recently said, "I'm in, why not?" Don't get me wrong, Crawford is a great fighter, but against me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. Canelo says Crawford is easy money. Okay? Now there's the next one. Potential big fights for 2025. Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani and or Jesse Bam Rodriguez. There's him and Nakatani right there. Either. Both of them would be, I'm greedy. I would take him against both of them, right? He just fought January? Or was it February? Well, he just fought. So he could get another one in March, April. May, fight Nakatani in May. Then fight Bam in the fall or winter. Mm-hmm. We can wait till summer and fight Nakatani and still fight Bam like December, at the end of the year. Monster famous for fighting around December, January, right? So we could get both of those in, but let's talk about it. Sometimes when it's too hard to decide between 2 options, it's okay to be greedy and want both of them. That's the situation when it comes to some potential big fights. Now, the Monster in 2025 is a perfect example of this, right? Naoya Inoue, at 31 years old, has become as sure a thing as there is in boxing, with 26 knockouts and 29 wins, and titles in 4 weight classes from 108 pounds all the way up to 122 pounds, where he currently campaigns at. And he's beaten so many opponents with such ease that it's getting to be routine, right? Now, anyway, has had 9 title fights since 2020, okay? 9 title fights since 2020, there's him and Bam right there, that have lasted an average of 6.9 rounds, which means it's time to up the ante. Anyway had a typical performance at the end of January when he knocked out Yi Jun Kim in the 4th round. And that meant absolutely nothing in the boxing world. Knocking that guy out for Monster meant absolutely nothing, okay? But if the Monster shares the ring with either Junto Nakatani or Jesse Bam Rodriguez, or both in 2025, those would be legacy fights. Now, Nakatani is 26 years old. He's also a native of Japan and has reigned just 1 division below the Monster at bantamweight for the past year, running his record to 29 wins, no losses, with 22 knockouts. Now, as for Bam, Bam is 24. Well, Bam is 25 now. He turned 25 in January. 25. He's the hottest young U.S.-based fighter, right? And he reigns as one of Inoue's. He reigns in one of Inoue's old stomping grounds at 115. And he has currently reached pound-for-pound status with 21 wins, 14 by knockout. Okay? Either one of those, Bam, Monster Nakatani, Monster Bam, or how about both of them? I'll take both. I'm greedy. Okay? Time for Monster to up the ante. Mr. Monster. Stop fighting Yiku Kims or whoever that guy was you knocked out last month or a couple weeks ago. That meant absolutely nothing to nobody. Everybody expected that. It was only a matter of time. The guy spent the whole fight backing up. Okay. Now, this is one that I would love to see again in 2025. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3. How about that one? Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3. Again, speaking of being greedy, sometimes 2 ain't enough. And usually when the same fighter wins the first fight and the rematch, that matchup doesn't require utility. But Taylor Serrano is an exception to the rule. The record shows that Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor have faced each other twice, once in 2022 and once this past November 2024. And they have combined for 20 rounds of unforgettable, compelling, and competitive combat, complete with blood, sweat, and so far for Serrano, tears. Okay? That's because the multi-division Puerto Rican champion has been on the short end of the 2 highly controversial and debatable decisions. One a split decision and the second one unanimous, right? Now, check this out. Serrano landed more punches in 13 of the 20 rounds during the 2 fights. And the real deal also landed more punches than Taylor in both fights. Okay? That's why this matchup needs the rubber match. Okay? Had a Taylor win both of them. Serrano has landed more punches in both fights. That's why this one definitely needs a rubber match, man. No question about it. We need this. Katie will probably retire, though. Maybe the judges will get it right this time. 3rd time is a charm. Maybe they get it right. And why not make the 3rd fight 12 3-minute rounds? Now, KT is likely the one against the longer fight because Serrano has fought 12 3-minute rounds several times in her career. It has been advocating for it to be universal in women's championship fights for years, okay? Anyway, there's no other women's fight that carries more competitive weight then a third go-round between KT and the Real Deal. And going by how the first two matchups played out, there's not many fans who wouldn't be willing to watch them square off for likely another instant classic. I know I would. I know I wouldn't mind seeing them again. Now this is, bear with me on this one, because this is a kind of a strange one here. Moses Itama versus Oleksandr Usyk. Okay. Moses is a young fighter. He's going to be one of the young fighters we talk about later in the show. Okay, Moses Itama. Moses Itama versus Oleksandr Usyk. Now, Oleksandr Usyk has been an Olympic champion. He's been a cruiserweight champion, and by the time 2024 ended, he'd added 2 wins over Tyson Fury to cement yet another significant accomplishment. Undefeated and undisputed heavyweight champion. So while the prospect of returning to 200 pounds to take on the likes of Jai Apataya is interesting, Usyk would be better off continuing to compete in the big boy division if he doesn't retire in 2025. Now, although Fury, Wilder, and Joshua all receded in 2024, there are still some compelling names at heavyweight. One such name is Moses Itama. Now, he's only 11-0 with 9 knockouts, but he's angling for a chance to break a record that was set by Mike Tyson 40 years ago when he became the youngest champion in heavyweight history. Tyson demolished Trevor Berbick in 2 rounds at the age of 20 years, 4 months, and 23 days in November 1986. Now, Itama turned 20 3 days after Christmas and could eclipse Tyson's mark if he were to win a heavyweight title by May 20th of this year. Now, Itama's first round smashing of Dempsey McKean on the Usyk Fury 2 undercard maintained top 10 contender status with the WBO and WBO. And given Usyk's past run at cruiserweight and 5-0 record against Fury, Joshua, and IBF champion Daniel Dubois, there's precisely no one with a more deserving resume or a more interesting backstory in line for a springtime title shot than Moses Itama. Okay? Would be a very interesting fight. Usyk and Moses Itama. There's Itama. Now, the other divisions has recently given us Jai Apataya versus 10-0 David Digika, David Benavidez versus 11-0 David Morrell. And next week, we have 12-0 Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Barancek. So why not Oleksandr Usyk versus 11-0 Moses Itama at heavyweight? It's either going to be the start of a new era at heavyweight with an Itama win, or another bullet point on a Hall of Fame career with an Usyk win. So why not? All these other young prospects getting in there with 10, 11 fights, give Moses his shot, Usyk. Fury, Wilder, Joshua, they all took a step back the last few years. Okay, how about this one? This is a very interesting one here for this year. Ryan Garcia versus Jaron Ennis. Ryan Garcia versus Jaron Ennis. How about that one? Now, this would be one of the biggest fights at 147 right now. Now, I didn't say most competitive. I said biggest. Because I don't think it would be competitive at all. Boots would probably boots by murder. On April 20th, 2024, Ryan Garcia defeated 31-0 Devin Haney in dominating fashion after many picked him as the underdog entering the fight. However, Garcia was found using PEDs as he tested positive for ostarine after the fight, which turned it into a no contest. That also resulted in a year's suspension for Garcia, which means that he can't step back into the ring until April 2025. Now, there are multiple names who Garcia can take on in his return fight, but none of them would be more important than Jerron Boots Ennis. Okay? Yeah, that would be a big fight. Now, there's a difference between competitive and big. It would be big, but probably not too competitive. But yeah, that would be a big fight. Boots is the current IBF World Welterweight Champion with a record of 33 wins, no losses. And following the departure of Terence Crawford, has become the biggest name in the welterweight division. It would make perfect sense for Garcia and Boots to face off in 2025, as Garcia has stated that he plans to debut at welterweight once he is allowed to fight again. Okay? He said he plans to come back at welterweight. Excuse me. Now, both fighters are considered massive players in the future of boxing. So this is definitely a matchup to look out for. Okay, now here's a big one. We might actually get this one later this year. I had predicted like 2023 we would get this fight here late 2025. And we might get it. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevens. We're just looking at some potential big fights for this year. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevens. How about that one? That would be a huge fight. Okay? Let's talk about it. Okay. Stevenson, these two fighters have been the biggest names in the lightweight division at the same time for almost 2 years now. Tank and Shakur have been the staple of the division. But these world champions have never crossed paths with each other, despite multiple call-outs of each other. Now, 2025 seems like the year this will change, as both have 3 wins each since the beginning of 2023. This means that one of these undefeated stars could lose their O soon, as well as their world title. Now, they are both defending their titles in early 2025. So if this fight happens this year, it will be in the latter half. It would easily be one of the biggest fights in boxing, as they have both become mainstream stars, with Tank being one of the biggest names in the sport right now. Yep, that would be a good one. Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevens. Take a commercial break.
Again, another meet and greet, this time in Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week, Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT, Curtis Sewell, Treasurer.
Pull up, pull up, pull up. 2 weeks from Friday. Going downhill toward it now. If you can't pull up, make a donation, okay? Now, how about this one? David Benavidez versus the winner of Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol 2. Okay, how about that? The Mexican Monster versus the winner. Terrell Cameron in the building. Salute, Terrell. How are you today, bro? We took a break from the history today, Terrell. We were talking about 2025, what's coming up for this year. We talked about some questions that needed answers about retirement, fighter retirements and all that stuff. And now we're talking about some of the potential big fights for this year. And we're going to talk about some of the young stars under 25 that's planning on making some moves this year. But how about this one? Potential big fight for this year. David Benavidez versus the winner of Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol 2. How about that one? Now, David Benavidez has earned the big fight before, and this time he ought to get it. As a super middleweight, Benavidez earned but never received the big fight at that weight, which would have been a shot at Canelo Alvarez. Now, as much as someone can in the sport of boxing, Benavidez did everything possible to land that fight with Canelo. And while Canelo claimed Benavidez didn't bring a huge fan base, he hadn't been in any top fights, Cinnamons' claims look very weak when you look at who he actually fought. What had Jaime Munguia or Edgar Berlanga done that Benavidez hadn't done, right? Neither brought some incredible fan base to the fight like Canelo claimed Benavidez couldn't. And both Munguia's and Berlanga's resumes pale dramatically in comparison to Benavidez's, right? Pale dramatically in comparison to the Mexican Monsters, who also, as the Mexican Monster, has held multiple titles. But to make a long story short, the Mexican Monster never got the fight against Canelo that he clearly not only earned, but deserved. So now, 2 fights into his light heavyweight division career, Benavidez is 30 wins, no losses, 24 knockouts, and is coming off a strong performance in a win over David Morrell Jr. And the 28-year-old star isn't going to turn his sights back to Canelo. No. Benavidez should now be attempting to land a matchup with the winner of the February 22nd rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. That's what the Mexican Monster should be looking at now. Now, Benavidez and Bivol and Bivol may not be available to fight Benavidez next, though. If Bivol wins this rematch on the 22nd, a rubber match between the two could happen next. And if Beterbiev wins again, there really is a chance he might consider hanging up the gloves. At age 40, Beterbiev has pretty much done everything he could have set out to do as a professional boxer, right? Plus, his injury history contributes too. If he comes out of this fight with another win over an excellent fighter like Bivol, will he keep pushing his body until it finally betrays him during a fight? Whatever happens, Benavidez has time. If he doesn't get Beterbiev or Bivol, he could eventually take over the division after they're gone. In the meantime, Benavidez has simply continued to prove himself a viable top fighter with star quality, if not yet star opportunity. Either he'll get that chance and try to take it by force, or he'll have to just keep building fight to fight. At this stage, don't doubt his ability to do it one way or the other. The Mexican Monster, okay? Yeah. Never got the Canelo fight. Canelo said, well, he doesn't bring a lot to the fight and he hadn't been in a big fight. What the hell did Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga bring? Huh? Nothing. Canelo was just doing his usual ducking. It's going to be part of Canelo's legacy, being a duck, man. Yeah, he definitely ducked David Benavidez. Maybe Benavidez will be part of that deal that he got, 4-fight deal with Turki Ali Sheikh. Benavidez has been loyal to PBC, but money talks, man. Follow the money, okay? Okay. Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Gotta go with that one. Usyk doesn't retire. Gotta revisit that one, man, because that was not a low blow, right? So yeah. Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Now, Dubois had the kind of year his fans had long hoped for in 2024, beating Filip Hrgovic to win an interim IBF heavyweight championship, later being promoted to full champion, right? And then defending that championship with a knockout of Anthony Joshua in a British mega fight inside Wembley Stadium, yeah? And the year was a breakthrough that placed Dubois among the heavyweight elite and put a world title around his waist for the first time in his career, right? Though not a title without an asterisk. That world title was only available for Dubois to capture thanks to boxing politics, taking it out of Usyk's grasp. Now, Usyk had become four-belt undisputed champion earlier in the year with his win over Tyson Fury, only to have the IBF strip him of their title for not fighting a mandatory challenger, and instead proceeding with his contractually obligated Fury rematch. Yeah, that's how he ended up getting stripped. Define RNE1. What's up? We're looking at some potential fights for the year coming, 2025. Define RNE1. We just dropped the history for a day, but we'll be back to it tomorrow. We're gonna look at some of the top fighters under 25 in a moment too. Got a group of some good ones. Now, Usyk and Dubois have already fought once, with Usyk scoring a ninth round stoppage in August 2023. Now, that fight had a minor controversy when Dubois appeared to have scored a knockdown with a body shot, only to have it ruled a low blow by the referee. Now, that's enough drama left on the table that following Usyk's win in the Fury rematch, Dubois entered the ring and demanded a rematch, this time for the undisputed championship. It's the top fight to make at heavyweight in 2025. If Usyk doesn't retire, because Usyk has 3, Dubois has 1, this is once again for undisputed. Yep. So that would be an interesting matchup. Only if Usyk doesn't decide to retire, though. You know, if he retires, then hey, he doesn't really need to do anything else. His ticket to the International Boxing Hall of Fame is already stamped. His legacy is set, so you know. It's all up to Usyk. Okay, how about this one? Teofimo Lopez versus Ryan Garcia. How about that? For a big fight for this year coming up. Teofimo and Ryan. Man, the build up, the press conference, they could sell that fight. It all depends. This fight could make a lot of money. It all depends on the promotion. This could be one of the biggest fights of the year if they promote it right. And they need to do a lot of press conferences, travel all over, you know. Not just the United States like they do one in California, New York. Go to Europe and places and do them, man, you know. That would be a great matchup if they promote it right. Teofimo Lopez versus Ryan Garcia. Now, after going out of his way to miss weight and then failing multiple drug tests for his fight with Devin Haney, it's a struggle to want to reward Garcia with a big fight. Now, that said, Garcia versus Teofimo would be a very big fight, and boxing needs fights to draw the level of attention this one would draw, okay? Now, Garcia has gone off the deep end with conspiracy theory talk and his behavior around the Haney fight, a fight in which he turned in the best in-ring performance of his career before having his decision win overturned, right? And it was inexcusable, but it all has only served to increase his popularity, right? With a segment of the population, yeah. He only got more popular for acting silly like he did with certain people. Yes, he did. Now, Lopez is a strange case in his own right. Just a few years ago, Teofimo seemed to be positioned to be one of the top stars in the sport for the foreseeable future, especially after that Loma win. However, several inconsistent performances have tamped down those expectations. Adds that to Teofimo's own strange behavior outside the ring, and you have a bizarre but compelling matchup between two fighters who have exchanged words and challenged each other to fights in the past. Yeah, this would be a good one. So now let's talk about some of these young fighters. Young fighters under 25 is on the move in 2025. Under 25 on the move in 2025. Excuse me for a minute. What's up, Al Booker? How you doing, bro? Yeah, Alberta. We dropped the history for a day. We talking about 2025 now. We talked about some questions that need to be answered about retirements, like Usyk Fury. Vladimir Klitschko talking about coming back, talking about matching him and Usyk up in the Battle of Ukraine. Klitschko is like 48, and Usyk would beat the brakes off that old man. And we talked about some big potential fights, Tank and Shakur, Ryan and T.O. If Usyk doesn't retire, him and Dubois will be undisputed now because Usyk has 3, Dubois has 1. I got to get my hoodie. It's almost cold as it is outside. Isn't it? Open Sesame. I'm coming. Hey. Trying to freeze a brother out in this bad boy. I'm back. Okay, let's talk about some of these young fighters. Under 25 years of age, looking to make some big moves in 2025. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, how's everyone today, though? Damn, I haven't got my shirt caught in the thing. Here we go. Come on, man. Slow down. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, gonna talk about some young fighters now. Yes, he did, Terrell. Terrell said Ryan made a crazy play and won. Yes, he did. Him and Teofimo would be good, man. All on how they promoted, though. Promoted right, this could be a huge super mega fight, Ryan and Teofimo. Like I said, don't just do one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. Go around the world with these two crazy guys, man. This could be huge. Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, only if it's promoted right, though. Now, young fighters on the move in 2025, okay? Let's talk about that. What time is it? Okay. Young fighters on the move in 2025. Okay. No two journeys in professional boxing are the same. Now, some fighters receive their opportunities when they are very young, while others must wait years for a chance to break free of the pack. Wilfred Benitez won his first title at age 17 and is still the youngest boxer in history to win a major world title. Bernard Hopkins is the oldest at age 49 when he won his last title, and he won his first title at age 30. Now, they took different paths to their titles, but both are considered two of the greatest of all time. Now, today's generation of fighters will also have different career paths. Now, while young fighters like Bam Rodriguez, Brian Norman Jr., Angel Avila, and Gabriela Fundora have already fulfilled the dream of becoming world champions before their 25th birthday, there are many exciting young fighters like Abdullah Mason, Floyd Schofield, Moses Itama, and Emiliano Vargas that will be in hot pursuit of glory in 2025. Now, this list of young boxers is a mixture of champions, contenders, and rising stars. Let's talk about it. First, Brian Norman Jr. These are all young fighters under 25 looking to make big moves in 2025. Brian Norman already a champion, okay? Ken Saw Love 1 in the building. Salute Ken Saw Love 1. I might as well write Jarrell Hattie name down. There he is. Jarrell Hattie, what's up, Jarrell? How was y'all weekend? We talking about 2025 today. We dropped the history for a day. We talked about some big fights. Talked about some fighters that could retire. Vladimir Klitschko talking about coming back at 48 to fight Usyk, the Battle of Ukraine. Usyk might kill that old man in there. Now we're talking about some young fighters under 25 that's looking to make big moves this year. Brian Norman Jr. Okay. Currently 24 years old, 26 wins, no losses, 2 no contests, 20 knockouts. currently fights at the 147-pound division. Now, powerful and stocky welterweight in the physical mold of Sean Porter, right? A former champion in the physical mold of former champion Sean Porter. Norman burst on the world scene with a brutal and damaging 10th round knockout of the previously unbeaten Giovanni Santillan in May of 2024. And having won the interim WBO title in that fight, Norman was upgraded to full champion after Terence Crawford relinquished the title. Now, it's easy to be impressed by Norman's strength and punching power, but he is also technically astute and has a high ring IQ. Now, despite punching Santillan to a standstill, Norman also counterpunched brilliantly in that fight and outclassed the world-class fighter. Now, some big fights are in the offing for Norman, and he has a bright future ahead of him. Brian Norman, okay? Talking about some young fighters under 25 that's looking to make some big moves in 2025. How about this guy here? Abdullah Mason, okay. Okay, I was trying to find him on this sheet. Here he is, Abdullah Mason. He's currently 20 years old. He's 16-0 with 14 knockouts, 87.5% knockout rate. Currently at 135, lightweight, okay? Now, Abdullah is arguably the most talented and exciting fighter in the sport under 25 right now. Mason has the boxing world buzzing. This Cleveland-based southpaw turned professional under the Top Rank umbrella after establishing himself as one of the finest U.S. amateurs in the world, in the sport, right? Fully aware that it's not only about winning, but how you win, Mason has been red hot throughout his career. Even in the two fights he's had that went the distance, his performance have been spectacular. And he has the look of a superstar, right? His right jab is so accurate and sets up a multifaceted offense that it immediately puts opponents on the defense. And the fact that Mason can also punch extremely hard means that we're unlikely to see the entire toolbox until he faces the elite fighters. Abdullah Mason, okay? Next young fighter looking to make a move in 2025, Xander Zayas. Xander is only 22. Unbelievable. I thought Xander was older than that, only 22. Xander is 20-0 with 12 knockouts, currently fights at junior middleweight, 154. Now, Zayas has style and substance in the ring that belies his years. That's why I thought he was older than that, man. You know, his presence is just, seems like he's old, only 22. Now, the Puerto Rican star is an economical sharpshooter who rarely wastes a punch and slips effortlessly into the second and third phases of attack. Managed with understandable caution by Top Rank after turning professional at 17, Zayas is now beginning to want to face top-level opponents, called out Virgil Ortiz, right? Virgil ducked. If they say Boots duck Virgil, then Virgil duck Zayas. If just a simple call out and you don't answer it as a duck, then Virgil duck Zayas because he called him out, okay? Now, champion in waiting, his 10-round whitewash, a former world title. Now, do I believe Zayas would beat Virgil? Hell no. But Virgil didn't answer the call out, which is not a duck, but some people call it a duck. I don't, but hey, if you say Boots duck Virgil, then Virgil duck Zayas. Simple as that, right? I don't think either was a duck, but hey, you got to keep the same energy when you're talking about these fighters. Everybody. Now, a champion in waiting, his 10-round whitewash, a former world title holder, Patrick Teixeira, was a brilliant demonstration of his talent. Xander Zayas, okay? Diego Pacheco, we just talked about some young fighters. that's looking to make some moves in 2025. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. What's up, RP? How you doing today, bro? Good to see you. We are just touching on some young fighters right now. You know, that's looking to make some moves this year. We got a young fighter, but I think he's over 25, looking to make a move Friday. The businessman going for his first major title this very week. Keyshawn, the businessman Davis. I look for him to win, but you got to stay focused and on point because he's in there with a fundamentally sound technician. You know, this Ukrainian guy. So Keyshawn got to stay on his ones and twos, right? Stay focused. He'll get the job done. He ain't going to get no wide wall punches like he got from Lemos. This Ukrainian guy just ain't going to do that. Being all repetitive and stuff. No, that ain't happening. Going to be a little bit harder for you this time, Keyshawn, but I think he's going to do it. Going for his first major title Friday. Now, Keyshawn didn't make this list because I think Keyshawn is 25, right? Okay, Diego Pacheco. Now, Diego is 23 years old. He's 23-0, 18 knockouts, fights at 168, just fought week before last, right? The Saturday before this. Now, Pacheco is a 6'4" super middleweight who can punch, and he loves to fight. What more do you need, right? Pacheco was signed by Matchroom Boxing and has appeared on several high-profile cards in the United States, Mexico, and the UK. Up until his hard-fought decision over Sean McCallman last year, the Los Angeles-born contender was on an 11-fight knockout streak, which is evidence of his power. Just coming off a good win over Steven Nelson week before last, Diego Pacheco. Next, we got Jesus Ramos. Jesus Ramos. Everybody hitting that appreciation button. Okay, I appreciate it. And like and subscribe, please. Like and subscribe, please. Okay, Jesus Ramos. That's Jesus on the left hand. Now, Jesus is 23 years old. He's won 22, lost 1. Remember that fight to Lubin? A lot of people don't think he lost that one, but that's his only setback. 18 knockouts, though. 81.8% knockout rate. Fights at 154, junior middleweight, super welterweight, whatever you want to call it. Now, even though Ramos dropped the controversial decision to Eric Lubin on a Canelo Charlo undercard in September 2023, he still has an extremely high ceiling. Now, many boxing insiders had the Arizona southpaw winning that fight, outpointing Lubin in that fight, including Cash Sports the Boxtorian, right? His confidence should still be intact, and the experience of his only professional loss will serve as a useful learning curve for Ramos. Now, Ramos bounced back with a 9th round stoppage of Johan Gonzalez on the Canelo Munguia undercard last May. So he bounced back from that loss nicely. And he's rated within the top 10 of 3 sanctioning bodies at 154 pounds. And while it might be a touch early for a world title fight, Ramos is getting close. In the top 10 in 3 sanctioning bodies. Yeah. And only 23. Jesus Ramos, I like it. I thought he won that fight, man. That Lubin fight. Really should be undefeated. You know? But hey, it's boxing. It happens. But the loss might have been better for him than another win. Who knows? He may never lose again in his career. Moses Itama. I'm on these young fighters. Moses. I had matched him up with Usyk as a good matchup for this year. Everybody else, 11, 12-0, getting fights with these champions. Why not Moses? Put him in there. It's the only way you're going to find out. You know, we had the guy in there with Apatai had, 12? And then Morel had, 12 against Benavidez. And now Keyshawn got 12 going in there Friday. So, hey, give Moses a shot. Now, Moses is only 20 years old, man. 11-0 with 9 knockouts. That's an 81.8% knockout rate. Fights with the big boys, heavyweight. Now, as is the case with many of the fighters on this list, their respective positions come down to potential. Now, with that being the case, the 20-year-old Atama could be even higher. Now, gold medalist at school and youth level, the Slovakia-born Englishman has sent shockwaves through boxing's glamour division since turning professional, okay? 7 of his 11 wins have come by knockout, get this, in the first round. Not just knockout, in the first round. 7 of it, only 4 people that went past the first round with him, okay? Okay? Digest that. And his southpaw skills and speed are astonishing. The goal right now is for Atama to break the record for youngest heavyweight champion of all time, which is currently held by Mike Tyson, who achieved the feat at 20 years, 4 months, and 22 days. Now that gives Atama would have to win the title before May 19th this year to break Mike's record. Realistic? Probably not. But Atama is a special fighter, so wouldn't be surprised if he did it. Okay? Wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Okay, Ernesto Mercado. We're talking about some of these young fighters fitting to break out in 2025. Ernesto Mercado. There's Ernesto getting his hand raised. Ernesto is 23 years of age. He's 17-0 with 16 knockouts. 94.1% knockout rate. Only one man's going the distance with him in 17 fights. Still hadn't lost any. He fights at 140. Them guys at 140 is loaded, man. Ernesto coming through. Got Emiliano Vargas there. 140 is. Now, if you're nicknamed Tito, then you better be able to fight. Get it, Tito Trinidad. Ernesto called himself Tito. He better be able to fight. And he can. Remember what I just said, 17 fights, 16 knockouts. And Ricardo is more than capable. Residing in Pomona, the same California city that produced Sugar Shane Mosley, Ricardo has a bit of everything. As his knockout ratio suggests, at 94%, he can punch. He has a pulverizing body attack, and if an opponent attacks him recklessly, then he has it. Now, if the opponent attacks him recklessly, Mercado is lethal on the counter, okay? Now, Mercado hasn't broken through to the mainstream yet, but if he can take his talents to the next level, then he's sure to develop a significant fan following. Exciting, talented, and powerful. This kid is made for television. I'm telling y'all right now, write that name down. Ernesto Mercado. Okay? Write it down. He's going to be the next big thing. And now here you go. Okay, Sports said that. When he become like undisputed or something by 2026. I don't know if it's going to be that soon. Yeah, there he is right there. Write him down. At 140, better watch out. Ernesto Mercado. Remember that name? You heard it here first. Okay. Talking about some young fighters up and coming, trying to make some moves in under 25, trying to make some moves in 25. Some of them already made moves. Some of them already champions. Like this young lady, the sister of the Towering Inferno, Gabriela Mendoza. No. Gabriela Fondora. I don't know where I got Mendoza from. Gabriela Fondora, sister of Sebastian. Now, Gabriela is 22 years old, right? She's 15-0, and she has some pop, 7 knockouts. She fights at 112, okay? Now, it's a family affair for Gabriela, who's the younger sister of men's super welterweight champion, Sebastian Fondora, nicknamed Sweet Poison. This sharpshooter and aggressive left southpaw won a world title October 2023 at the expense of Relly Lucino, and she has looked scintillating in 3 subsequent defenses. In her last outing, She won a 7th round TKO over Gabriella Alanis. If she stays focused, then a place on boxing pound for pound list is well within her grasp. I thought she was already on it. Now, both Gabriella and her brother Sebastian are trained by their father Freddie Fedora at the Lee Espinosa Coachella Valley Boxing Club out there in California. Okay, next, talking about Sebastian's sister. How about Daniel's sister, Caroline Dubois? Right? Speaking of little sisters. Yeah, Terrell, remember that name, Ernesto Mercado, at 140. Bad boy, man. Next time y'all see his name coming up on an undercard or something, make sure you check him out. Because he's still like deep down on cards right now, you know. He ain't going to be like the co-main or the right before the co-main. He's still working his way through there, but he's going to be up there soon. Watch. He'll be up there soon. Caroline Dubois. Now, Caroline is 24. She's 10-0. She has 1 draw, 5 knockouts. Little pop, 50% knockout rate. She fights at 135, okay? She got the title that Katie Taylor dropped, right? She would have had the nerve to call out Katie, but if Katie hadn't dropped it, she would have never beat Katie for it. No way. Katie would have hit her with that big head, you know, an experienced boxer like that, and Caroline would have knew what hit her. But she got it when Katie dropped it, because Katie was undisputed in 2 weight classes, and she really wasn't defending lightweight. She was fighting at super lightweight. So, you know, it's like Katie dropped them belts so somebody else can have a chance. You're not even fighting in the division. She had went like a year since she had fought in the division, but holding on to all 4 belts. Right? Ain't that crazy? So I don't think she dropped all of them, but she did allow Caroline to get one of them. She dropped one of them. Now, her nickname is Sweet. Sweet was the obvious ring moniker handed down to Dubois when she turned professional in 2022. More importantly, however, it's that the London-born Southpaw's talent is also obvious. The younger sister of IBF heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois is part of the new generation that came through Team Great Britain, and she has star potential. Despite failing to medal at Tokyo in 2020, Dubois had a distinguished amateur career, and she won Youth Olympic gold in 2018. Right? She was upgraded to the women's WBC lightweight title in December 2024. Katie vacated. Just told you about that. KT let it go. And her biggest fights are definitely ahead of her, and she has time on her side. Right? Definitely has time on her side. Floyd Schofield, he got a big one coming up. Making a big step up. Floyd is coming up in a few weeks on the 22nd. A week from Saturday, right? Not even less than 2 weeks. The next week is fight week, as a matter of fact. He's on the last crescendo card against Shakur. Right? Okay. Now, Floyd is 22 years old. He's 18-0. He has 12 knockouts. Little Pop, he fights at 135. Floyd is at 135. Okay? Now, talented, ambitious, and powerfully built, Schofield looks like he'll be a mainstay among the lightweight elite in the not-too-distant future. Initially inspired to compete on the U.S. Olympic team, Schofield ran out of patience with the amateur scene, turned professional, and even eventually signed with Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar and them over there. Those fans who enjoyed the crystal ball moments see Schofield mixing with fellow lightweight star Abdullah Mason down the road. And with the skills and punching power both fighters have, we could be looking at a memorable rivalry developing when they eventually cross paths. But right now, Kid Austin is 2 weeks away from a gigantic step up and the biggest fight of his career. By far, he has a date with Slick Shakur Stevenson on the card of Better Be Adverse Bivol 2. Stevenson is putting his WBC title on the line, and somebody's old will have to go. That'll be Floyd's. Slick Shakur Stevenson by dominating decision. Dominating 15-round decision. Watch. Adam Azim. Looking at some young fighters. Did Adam Azim. Right there. Adam is 22 years old. 13-0, 10 knockouts. That's not a lot of fights, so knockout rate not that high. You know, the more fights you get, the higher, you know, it's still not bad. 76.9, hitting up around 80. And if he keep up that rate like they get up like 20, 25 fights, then he'll be doing something, you know. Adam Azim. He fights at, oh Lord, I think it's 140. I didn't even put it down. Now, one of the main faces of the Boxer promotional company in the UK, Azim has been an electrifying talent since he turned professional in 2020. Now, standout amateur, the lightning quick phenom from Slough, England, trains under the tutelage of Shane McGuigan. Trains with the McGuigan family, famous legendary boxing family over there, Barry, Shane's father. And he has been fast-tracked to title success. In November 2023, Azim picked up the European Championship. He don't have any kind of major. He got the European. That's major for over there, European or Commonwealth, British. Yeah, he has the European Championship. And he won it from Frank Pettigene. And he was impressive in doing so. Now, a matchup against red-hot British rival Dalton Smith, who has proactively chased the fight, has failed to materialize. And that's been disappointing. Yeah, those British fans want that Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. That'd be a pretty good fight. Hopefully the pair can duke it out for a world title down the road. Yeah. Or at least the European title, you know. Number 12 is, did I change? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Adam. Javier Herrera. I guess that's right. Close enough. Javier Herrera. Now, Javier is 22. He's 16-0, 14 knockouts, 87.5%. He fights at 130. He fights in the 130 division. Melanie Queen, 27. What's up, Melanie Queen, 27? Taking time off from her busy work day to join us. Talking about the raffle. That's what I've been trying to say earlier. But yeah, see that link right there? Hit that. Take you straight to the Cash App. You can get your ticket, right? Now I had in the commercial I played that I still was talking about the special, but the special is over. It's $30 now for the tickets, okay? And still get you a chance to go to Ron Tank Davis. Man, who's he fighting? Javante Tank Davis fight. I can't think the guy's name. Lamont Roach. Javante Tank Davis, Lamont Roach fight. Right. And you can always also pay $10 and get one ticket. We always got the block special. 3 for $25 and get a ticket. Or just buy a ticket to the event and you're automatically in the drawing to win a ticket to the fight. Now the event is on the 28th, but the drawing is next Friday, the 21st, to give you a week's time to make your arrangements if you win to get up there. But remember, if you can't get up there, and you need somebody to take the ticket off your hand, I give you $2 or $3 for it, and go to I'm gonna be up in New York anyway, so hey, you know, ain't no use you wasting it, right? So you holler at me if you win the ticket and can't make it. Okay, let's move on. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's move on. Where was it? Javier, holler at me, though. I'm serious. I ain't joking. Javier Herrera. Okay. Did I do him? No. Yeah, he's 22 years old. 14 knockouts at 130, 87.5%. He's a Cuban star, right? And he's a multifaceted southpaw who many are predicting will be a major force at the world level eventually. The news of his young fighter's rise spread from his home in Dubai to British promoter Frank Warren, who signed him early in 2024, last year. Now, eager to test the waters with their new charge, Queensbury Promotions had Herrera debut on the Conor Casal card in Belfast, and he did not disappoint. His opponent was Andres Navarrete, right? And Navarrete had only lost one fight going into that one. He got knocked out cold by a massive left hand, right? Forcing the referee to wave the fight off immediately. Referee didn't even count, just waved it off, right? Didn't even count. So yeah, this guy gonna be a good one too. Javier Herrera. You keep him in mind too. Cuban fighter. Yeah. I'm gonna put him in there too, because that's another one. I forgot the other one already. Who was it? I put it in the chat. What's this guy's name? Yeah. I wrote this down and I can't even read it. What is that? A H or J or E? I think it's a J. Damn. You spell Javier with a J, right? Jadier. I think that's it. Him. Keep your eyes on this guy here too. You hear about him on any of those undercards? Because he ain't gonna be up there no co-mains and that stuff. But yet. But you see him on any of those cards? Check him out. Just like that other one, Ricardo. That was his name. Ricardo. Those two. Well, you know about Abdullah Mason and all them. But Ernesto Mercado, I spelled Ernesto's name wrong too. It's E-R-N-E-S-T. And Javier Herrera. It's Javier. The phone corrected. I put D, but it corrected. But it's Javier Herrera. Well, Javier, you know who I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, he didn't disappoint him not to go out in the first round. They was just trying to see how he was, and he got him out of there in the first round, right? And the referee, there's plenty of excitement around Herrera, and it's warranted. Okay, it is definitely warranted. Bear with me for a minute. Okay. And I got to let me do this real quick while I do that. I don't even know if I changed it. Herrera, who was before him? I done lost track of the slide display. Adam Azim, 11-12. Yeah, I'm right. Let me do this real quick.
ET is doing it again. Another meet and greet, this time in Brooklyn, New York, during the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight week. Friday, February 28th from 8 p.m. until midnight. If you're planning on being in town for the fight, pull up on us at the meet and greet. Tickets can be purchased via Cash App at JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. There is an early bird special for $20 from now until February the 1st. Then it's $30. That covers entry and food. There will also be a cash bar, so make sure you get your tickets early. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so make sure that you are in that number. Several door prizes will be given away. For more information, call 410-322-4365. That's 410-322-4365. 4365. And have a great JBT day. Brought to you by the JBT, Curtis Sewell, Treasurer.
Okay. Now I got some honorable mentions too. This is Angel Ayala. Okay. He's 24 years old, 18-0, 8 knockouts, fights in the 112 division. Dennis McCann, 24 years old, 16-0, 1 draw, 8 knockouts, fights at 122. Hoopy Price. Yeah, Hoopy Price, Hopey Price. Hoopy is 24 years old, 12-0, 5 knockouts. He fights at 122. We got Callum Wash. I thought Callum was older too. I don't even know if that's Callum. I think I'm off track. It's Callum. Yeah. Callum is 24 years old, 12-0, with 10 knockouts. That's an 83.3% knockout rate. And Callum fights at 154. Thomas Hill, what's happening, Thomas Hill? Yeah, Callum is at 154 right now. Okay. Yeah, we dropped the history for today. We talked about some of the young fighters that's in the sport right now. Under 25, looking to make some noise in 2025. Under 25, looking to make some noise in 2025. Okay. Yeah. Callum Wash. Then we have wait a minute, I'm writing. But remember those two names I told you, Ernesto Mercado, Javier something. Ernesto Mercado and Javier Herrera. I still got one more too. Elijah Garcia. How could I forget Elijah Garcia? Yeah, Elijah Garcia. 21 years old, 16 wins, 1 loss, 13 knockouts, 81.2% knockout rate. He fights at 168. Elijah does. Yeah. That's Azim. I think that's Elijah Garcia right there. And Azim is 11. Herrera is 12. Garcia is 13. Yeah, that's Garcia. Azim, Herrera, Garcia. There we go. Yeah, Garcia, he's Arizona-born southpaw, right? He was heading toward a world title fight when his progress was derailed by heavy pre-fight underdog Tyrone Davis in June 2024. It was a moment that could make or break the 21-year-old who was coming on strong in the late rounds but ran out of time and dropped the unanimous decision. Now, former amateur stand-up, Garcia has all the time in the world to rekindle his world title ambitions. A rematch with Davis might work, or his brain trust might go in another direction. Either way, one would expect to hear more from this powerful southpaw. So, it's clear that he needs to tighten up his offense and be mindful of what's coming back at him, too. Yeah. Kind of lost focus in there against Tyrone Davis and got beat. But yeah, Angel Ayala did them. Dennis McCain, Hoopy Price, where were we? Callum Wash, I think we was on Callum. Your Callum is 24, 12-0, 10 knockouts, 83.3% knockout rate. Fights at 154. Then we have John Arobio, right? Arobio is 21 years old, 12-0, 11 knockouts, 91.6 early knockout rate, 11 fights, 12 fights, got 11 of them out of there, right? Fights at 140. I told you that 140 is going to be crazy, man, in like another year. Well, by the end of this year, look at all these names, man. Mercado, Arobio, this guy right here. We got Angel, Arobio. Yeah, 140 is just going to be crazy, man. Yeah, Arobio is 12 wins, 11 knockouts. And then this guy, Jose Angel Gabriel Rosa, is at 140. 24 years old. He's 27-1 with 20 knockouts at 140, but still young, right? 140 is wide open, man. Them young stars, Brian and Devin, they better move up. For them young stars get there and start, when I'm going to knock one of them off, that's what's going to end up happening. Amari Jones. He's bigger. Amari is 22 years old, 13-0, 12 knockouts, 92.3% knockout rate. He fights at 160. Amari fights at 160. And finally, last but certainly not least, one of Fernando's boys, the youngest, Emiliano. There's Fernando and Emiliano. See him? Emiliano is 12-0 with 10 knockouts. Good early rate, 83.3%. Emiliano is at 140. I told you, man, that 140 is just crazy. Like by this time next year, 140 is going to be wild, man. Woo. And them guys going to have to fight each other, right? Because there ain't going to be nobody else to fight but these good young fighters, you know? You ain't going to be able to duck them. You're going to have to either fight them or get out of it, move up. Or they weight bullying and it's over. Fight these young lions or move your ass up out the way because they coming, okay? They are coming. These young guys are coming, man. A bunch of them. A bunch of them. Mercado is at 142. He could be the best of the bunch. Ernesto Mercado. Yeah. Okay, join me tomorrow for the 115 junior bantamweight division. We're going to talk about the history of it and some of the former fighters, the current top 10, some big fights that happened over the years, and some other significant events. This one ran long. This show brought this one to the door. But don't forget the meet and greet is coming up 2 weeks from Friday, okay? And you still got the you still got this week and next week to win the ticket because the drawing is next Friday, the 21st. Remember, the drawing is a week before the meet and greet to give you time to get yourself together and, you know, make your arrangements to get there to the fight, you know. And then, you know, I ain't got to say it again. You know what to do if you can't make it up there. Holler at me, right? Holler at me. And that'll be that. But I appreciate everybody for stopping by today. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We're going to have another one tomorrow. The bantamweight division. We're going to talk about that slick African-American style Wednesday. Brought to you by Thomas Hill, the Boxing Styles. The slick African-American boxing style Wednesday. Don't miss that one. Thursday, boxing in the States, Oregon. Friday, the life and career of Vitaly Klitschko, the older of the Klitschko brothers. Vladimir talking about coming back at 48 years old to fight Usyk. Usyk gonna beat the brakes off that old man. They talking about the battle of Ukraine. But yeah, Vladimir, does he need money? I didn't think he needed money. He was a big-time politician over there in Ukraine. I don't know. But he's talking about coming back at 48 years old. Yeah, Vladimir, the youngest. Vitaly is the oldest. We're gonna do Vitaly Friday. Okay. But yeah, this show ran all the way. Didn't get any link time today. We'll get some tomorrow. Okay. But I appreciate everybody for coming through today. Hit the like button for me, please. I appreciate that. I think we're getting Just Do Boxing today. Let me check right quick because I don't want to tell y'all be ready for Just Do. And he ain't coming, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. That balanced, unbiased boxing talk. Everybody gets to Just Do at Just Do Boxing. Shut up. Do it one more time. Okay, Yeah, Just Do Boxing up next. Okay. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Melanin Queen 27. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Jarrell Hattie. Ken Saw Love 1. Al Booger. Defiant Arnie 1. Terrence Cameron. Trump. Mike Mazik. Mike Rim. Crush. The Legend. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Did I say Melanin Queen 27? Melanin Queen deserves 2 mentions. Okay. Appreciate everybody. You know, be here tomorrow for the learn about the junior bantamweight 115-pound weight class and some of the great fighters that fought there over the years. Take a look at the current top 10. Some big fights that occurred there over the years and some other significant events tomorrow. Okay? If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxstorian bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do Boxing is straight ahead. This is Cass Sports. I appreciate y'all. Everybody have a great afternoon. And I will see y'all around those JBT streets. Just boxing today.